Well, we just went through the subway, and we most certainly did not eat fresh. So maybe we should go into the upgrade menu and upgrade our metabolism a bit more. If you are playing at home, I would recommend focusing on this stat above all others, because not only does it give you more stamina back when you eat food, it also means that when you're full and it transfers over from what would normally be stamina over to SP, it gives you more of that.
And it allows us to eat stale, too.
Exactly, yeah. And as we'll see in the next video, we can actually replay stages. And there's a special thing that happens if you do.
No, the fire is here too? There's no other way. Just have to keep going.
Fire spreads? No!
It spreads, lifts, and separates. So not every stage in this game has combat in it. This is purely exploration, albeit under pretty intense circumstances, as we can see.
There's fire everywhere.
And that has a special effect on our end of level ranking. But in the meantime, we've got some character models to save, as well as a JPEG of people in the background hidden by the mirage effect.
That's a pretty convincing effect.
It might be a GIF. They're kind of... I think I see some wiggling that's not attributed to the smoke, like, wibbly effects.
We're all wrong. It's a bitmap.
Ah!
I'm sorry to tell you, but nobody is smart in this universe. Least of all your grandkids.
I mean, plus Ray doesn't seem to know how fire works, and somebody with his work history really should.
Nope, bathrooms are closed.
Yep, someone's hidden in the toilet. Maybe we'll be able to get them to come out later. Oh, great, and he's also a survivalist. And since I upgraded Ray's strength stat, that means that those particular breakable objects only take 2 punches instead of 3.
Oh no.
Dead end.
Now.
Holy shit, look at that!
Oh yes, it's time for yet another new type of natural disaster.
Damn, stay here, we're dead.
I'm no expert, but I think this city is just fucked.
Do you think if I put a mooing cow in the background along with that other stuff from Fire Tornado that anyone would notice or find it unusual?
No. Damn it! No, not at all.
Leave this to me. You secure the escape route.
Are you sure?
Go to it.
God, that guy kind of looks like Doctor from Metal Gear Rising.
Gotta get this
A little bit.
Turn off my rescue suppressors. You know, it really says something that in a game where seemingly every single possible natural disaster is happening to the entirety of the United States all at once, the most unrealistic thing is that a local politician is putting his own life on the line to save his constituents.
Yeah.
Game clearly not made in 2025.
Well, even in 2008, it would have been a stretch.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
Hey man, calm down. Pay attention to your game mechanics.
And they give us a burger. Every so often, you'll see NPCs who will give you items. There's actually one stage a bit later on where, under specific conditions, it will max out your entire item capacity every single time.
My fellow citizens, this is Mayor Townsend. I'd like you all to calm down and
Anyone
please
here?
listen to me. The fire storms in the city are approaching this area. If we don't do something, we'll either burn to death or suffocate. Everyone, I beg of you, go and help move the rubble, blocking the park exit.
that just means we'll have to recruit more people in order to compensate for having recruited frail elderly people. Although they did give us a first aid kit. That's nice. So as the tutorial mentioned earlier, because we're now under extreme heat, that means that our stamina meter will drain faster. Unless we use the stamina's 30, which, you know, that temporarily pauses all stamina draining.
Hello.
No, ma'am, I need your daughter
Hi.
for child labor, please.
Child labor is always justified under life and death circumstances.
I'd imagine this was a nice park at some point.
Yeah, well, given we're still in Blue Ridge City, which, you know, is not San Francisco. So maybe there's a park in San Francisco this was based on. I don't know. I very, very briefly lived in San Francisco for like 2 or 3 months in 2011. So, yeah, I don't really have that much experience with the city. I think right about here, I'm also going to show off that if... Okay, it's somewhere else nearby this public toilet at a later time, but if you don't... You actually do take a considerable amount of damage if you refuse to waggle to put out the fire.
Nope, there's still somebody in there.
I'll come around eventually. Oh no, I missed a context-sensitive camera moment because I was too busy trying to talk to this guy. Oddly enough, when this game came out, which was 2008, fire tornadoes were a relatively recently discovered phenomenon. Like, I think the first one was only officially verified sometime around 2003.
Or can we make it?
Now! 1, 2, 3, now!
Now, we've not built up our citizen meter enough. We cannot activate the minigame.
If only we had that child.
If only.
I'm talking to you now from the Parks Management Office. Fire is already starting to spread around this building. I don't know how long it will last. However, I will keep broadcasting until the escape route is cleared by all of you. We may seem powerless in the face of a natural disaster, but we are not. We can pool our strength, help each other, and stand together. Please don't forget that. I beg of you, don't.
See, maybe there's one positive thing to come out of this for Mayor Townsend. He can now fire his speechwriter because he's just realized that he's really good at making, you know, provocative, powerful, and emotional statements just off the top of his head.
He also really doesn't have to campaign for re-election after this.
He's pretty much set for life at this point. Maybe it's right about here? It definitely, at some point, I intentionally let Ray get burned almost to a crisp, just to show off what happens. It might be here? Yeah, this is it.
You can't try to open a door. You're on fire.
Well, you can't twist the Wii remote if you're already shaking it to put out the fire. It's just natural. Conveniently lines up against the wall to hide the giant poop stain on his pants.
No, it's just singed. It's just singed.
And speaking of showing off the mechanics, we are almost about to run out of stamina. And the consequence for running out of stamina, in addition to moving slightly slower, we also start draining health. Which, that might seem slow, but it actually, if you're not paying attention, it could be a real problem really fast.
it's faster than I would have expected it to be, yeah.
Please!
But from where? Where did this car fall from?
The sky. I mean, everything else is.
It was camouflaged by all of that guy's farting and pooping. Actually, now that I think about it, it might have been that one scripted event with the context-sensitive camera action that I missed because I was talking to that other guy. I will at least give the benefit of the doubt and possibly assume that that's when that car was supposed to fall.
Oh, okay.
So eventually we will be able to increase our carrying capacity, not just for ammo, but also for items. Like, we're currently at 8, and I think the maximum is 16. But when you're replaying stages, it becomes rather annoying that you're having to do that extra step of using up an item because you see one already, and you know you got some health down anyway. And okay, I think we have enough people now. This is also one of those stages where there aren't any rescues in terms of like what the game treats as a collectible.
Right.
But
Let's do it.
Let's do this together.
yeah, it's still, this is the thing where you are forced, one of the few instances where you are forced to help people.
We don't have much time. Hurry! Here we go.
Boss!
1, 2, 3.
This is an entire family of people named Park, thus they are the Park people. See, when you have like about a dozen folks all waggling at the same time, that's what makes it really important. So yeah, this is almost a guaranteed S rank. I don't remember if you get a near-death experience out of combat. I don't know if that counts towards it in terms of like the end of level rankings, because it seems to be very heavily weighted towards combat. Also, I wasn't kidding when I said this game was long in the works. I started recording this right after the first wave of lockdowns in 2020, and about half of the game footage that I have is from that period. We've also unlocked the beginner shooting range. The beginner, intermediate, and advanced shooting ranges are unique in that you can take any weapons you have into them. I mean, they're not exactly very good for grinding purposes, but they're fun. Each one has a special gimmick. For example, this one is an old-fashioned Wild West showdown.
Oh.
Now, like the junk shooting range that we played earlier, this one also has a specific buy-in. You have to spend 1,000 BP in order to even access it. So the way that you win in this game is to get a score that is higher than 1,000. And despite the fact that I had some pretty terrible accuracy, I still managed to get a return on investment somehow. I'm okay with this mechanic as like the optional shooting ranges. I just don't think it was worth keeping for the shooting ranges that unlock a weapon, you know.
Yeah.
That seems a little harsh. So, magazine. Ammo capacity for weapons are upgraded based entirely on how big the clip or the magazine or whatever is. Capacity is the stat that increases how many items and how much ammo you can carry. And firearms is a general buff overall to weapon usage.
And every weapon is independently upgradable?
Yes.
Oh, God.
I hear cheering.
these cutscenes, by the way, they are pre-rendered, but they use all the in-game assets, so things still look a little blurry.
Everyone, get out! Get out! Move, people! It's not safe in
If
here.
you find other people, move them. That's what I meant by not using a comma.
I like how 5 minutes ago it was extremely dire that they get that bus out of the way and get out of there, and then once they move the bus, everybody stops to celebrate.
So
Yeah.
they were moving a dire bus. It's an extra powerful kind of bus that's also dire. Ooh, is that a new character I see? And a new location. Perhaps we'll come back here someday.
I don't know. I'm worried about Mayor Doctor.
Blue Ridge City. Nearly destroyed. And on top of that,
Please let there be a subplot where the president wants to nuke the city because it's suffering from natural disasters.
Are you ready for this, Mr. President?
That's not going to happen. This is a universe where politicians are respectable, passionate, and kind. So, you know, total fiction. Besides, I think someone else is going to make the nuclear threats in a minute.
This is Haynes, commander of the Surge Special Forces Unit. Have you confirmed our acquisition of the nuclear warheads?
yes, it's confirmed.
Then I'll give you our demands. First, you will prepare to deliver $200 million.
200 million?
Half of that will
That's
be
an
given to
entire
the
rounding
families of
error on the
dead
national
Surge
debt.
members
How are we going to pay that?
while the remaining half will be sent to us by a soon-to-be-designated method. Second, the honor of those of us who were branded as traitors will be restored by allowing the public access.
You will pay us our $200 million entirely in Squid Game tokens.
We have already equipped the nuclear weapons with detonation devices. If you do not comply with our demands, we will detonate somewhere in the United States. Do you understand? Mr. President, do you understand?
Colonel Haynes, you know perfectly well how we're going to respond to these threats, and you know what preparations we've made. When we deploy the nuclear emergency search
by all
team...
means, attempt to activate Nest in the middle of post-earthquake chaos. But don't forget that Surge specialized in running missions under unique conditions.
Are you saying you planned for this disaster?
This conversation...
What I'm saying is Surge is also Foxhound.
...the method for delivering the money to us.
So IMDb has two different actors credited for Colonel Haynes specifically. One is Dan Southworth again. The other one is Kyle Hebert, which I'm more willing to accept because that doesn't really sound like Dan at all. But also because in addition to Dante and Virgil in the same game, that also means we have Ryu and Ken in the same game.
Oh my god.
You're insane! Threatening the government? Demanding money? If we'd sent out a warning, we could have saved so many lives!
True. It was thanks to you that we were able to have advance warning of a major earthquake. However, you didn't predict it would happen today, did you? At the very least, you predicted we'd have a bit more time.
Even so, we could have at least warned those people.
Could we? If we had announced it, and the quake hadn't occurred, we'd have created a full-scale panic that likely would have cost millions in economic and infrastructural damage. Would that have been a better course of action? What do you think, Professor?
Huh?
So bringing home the Capcom connections, well, there's actually a more general reason as to why that is, but also the president is voiced by one of the bosses from Dead Rising, the convenience store owner who says, "I don't allow vandalism in my store!" That's the guy.
Give me courage, partner.
This is actually kind of an impressive cavalcade of voice actors.
And most of them seem to be uncredited for some reason. I guess with Monolith Soft treating this as like a B project, they didn't want to really do a lot of union stuff.
I'm not gonna let them get away. Need to find out where Lisa is.
Anyway, here's another driving. Yes, more driving. There's actually another driving section in the level right after this. Yeah, this section can be kind of difficult. Again, it's not the tilt controls actually work just fine. It's draw distance and frame rate, as well as weird hit detection. You can see that briefly I ran right through a car for about half a second before it registered. I was actually doing this partially on purpose to get a title, because there is a title for finishing a level with, I think it's less than 25% of your car's HP.
Oh, there goes the last 25%.
Yep, Ray's helping me out in the cutscene. He knows what I'm trying to do.
I just don't like Humvees!
This is Ground Unit Alpha. We've encountered hostiles. We are engaging.
Evans here. The tsunami is approaching your location. Deal with the hostiles quickly, and don't you dare lose that warhead.
Roger.
Where's Lisa? Why did you take her?
You again. Well, I am amazed.
Answer me!
Oh, I thought you were after the nudes.
Dan Southworth isn't so much chewing the scenery as he is gorging and binge eating on it.
Don't you worry, boy. She's with the Colonel in a nice, safe place, and we got no intention of harming her. So use your head, kid. Just go back where you came from. We won't have to put any holes in you.
Sorry, but I just can't do that.
I think they're all just having dumb fun with this.
Yeah, it's absolutely intentional.
Light him up!
Light him up. He's trying to be intimidating, but I can't be intimidated by someone named Gordon.
Well, I think in the next video, there's a scene in particular that is one of the most iconic moments in the entire game involving Gordon. And, well, I think your opinion may turn around on him after that, perhaps. So yeah, this is the second half of this level is one protracted gunfight against Gordon and the other members of Surge under his command. Now, I'm using Shotgun 1, which is decent, but when we unlock Shotgun 2 specifically, that actually becomes one of my favorite weapons in the whole game. Unfortunately, it's also kind of boring if you're just watching it and not actually using it. I keep trying and failing not to bring the Shotgun 2 with me on every other level in the rest of the LP. Oh my god, there are so many amazing and dumb weapons.
See that?
And speaking of amazing and dumb...
5 minutes, kid. 5 minutes till that tsunami.
Tsunami?
Tsunami.
Not that long to settle this.
Fine, you're on.
Let's make this the best 5 minutes of our lives, Ray.
It's coming. Can't waste any more time.
Tsunami's getting close!
You'll die as well.
Now you're gonna see why they call me Revolver.
You are walking out of here alive!
So this phase of the fight has a bit of a gimmick to it, where, well, first of all, you have to shoot him enough until he switches weapons. There we go. That's more like it.
I have a spare weapon ready to go.
And of course, you know, this is light gun combat, so the bosses all have very light gun-esque gimmicks.
You interfering with us! Now
Yeah, specifically, the weak points are you shoot those panels, and also wait until he's reloading his giant LMG. Both of those count as clever shots.
How about that? Now try dodging this.
And of course, you know, we have the junk weapon for a reason, and we will keep humiliating him with that.
You know, it's really interesting how the panels choose where to land depending on who shoots them.
Yeah, a lot of infrastructure failures in real life are based entirely on RNG. Little known fact.
How about that? Now try dodging this. Surge will never die! We will not be dishonored!
We will be some other Arcade Studios game instead. Preferably not the one with vampires in it. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, we reached the end! We will never fall! Never!
I can't remember if I mentioned it, but when you're using the junk weapon, it is the only weapon in the game where it will automatically reload once you throw it and then go back into cover. Which even a later weapon that we'll get, which explicitly has the gimmick of being only to fire once, that doesn't do that either. It's only the junk.
Interesting. There's an awful lot of tennis balls on this highway.
Yep.
I don't know, I found the amount of teddy bears to be disproportionate.
Well, we've maxed out the type stat for the junk weapon, which means there are now 5 different pieces of junk we can get, one of which is extremely rare and is also the single most powerful weapon in the entire game. I cannot overemphasize just how powerful it is to quick scope with the shotguns in this game. It is utterly absurd.
Tell me we get his LMG.
Okay, so this is a weird glitch. Somehow, and I'm still not entirely sure how, I got the titles for both Worst Driving Possible and Best Driving Possible in the same run. I don't understand how I did it. It must have been glitched or something, but whatever. Not like I'm complaining.
Now you don't have to do a level and drive shitty.
Yeah,
no,
so
of course, Ray bumping the Humvee underflowed the car health and brought it back up to full.
oh, okay, now it makes sense. See, that is true gameplay and narrative integration right there.
That would be absurdly stupid if that was actually the case.
So, this video ended with Gordon quite literally on his knees, possibly begging for mercy. We don't know. And in the next video, we will find out what his ultimate fate is. And, well, I'm not going to say exactly what, but I will say that it is very funny.